What up, you guys? Welcome back to Pro Publications YouTube channel. The channel talking about zines and DIY publishing. And I'm still working on the Punch Drunk Zen comic issue that I'm working on. And I kind of want to go through page 3 with you to show you kind of what I was critiquing as problematic in the page and just explain kind of my process on that. So I guess let's go ahead and get the page ready so that we can just audit the page. So this is that page right here. I'll show you guys what I do with it. So you come here, instead of having it on normal, you go as light as you can, and then you just push, and that's it. There it is. So you have it here to a point where you don't really care if you mess it up or not. I did too, just in case I don't like the first one. So here's the page. Let's go ahead and go through basically what I didn't like about this page. Alright guys, so now that I have this extra copy here, let's go ahead and go through this. So to begin with this panel here, at first I wasn't too happy with it just because, so if you're here and you're like this, right? This arm here is probably going to be down here, like that. But if you notice here, this one's already out, but I thought it's okay because it kind of works for the story structure. For overall the plot, this is going to work. So I said, okay, this is fine, right? Because the idea is that this guy has more brute force than he has technique. This fella has more technique than he has brute force. This one right here is one of the ones that I found the most problematic, right? Because where does this arm come from, right? His head should be here. And it should be like that. You get what I'm saying? And originally in the pencils, let me go get the other page real quick. But so originally in pencils, you can see that I put his head right there. You can see the spikes. But when I inked it, I don't know why I thought maybe just do the arm. I thought that would look better. But when I look at it, I'm like, oh, it doesn't make sense. Where does that arm come from? So this panel, I'm going to leave it alone. But this panel right here, I'm definitely going to redo it so that it's like, you know, this fella, you can see the arm coming back. The one that just socked him coming back. But this one's on its way to get his ass. Boom, you know. This one is fine. It's just the connection of it, right? If I wanted to, I'd maybe put his head here just for continuity purposes. But for the most part, this panel is fine. I can live with that. This one right here, it's okay. But ultimately what I was trying to give to understand here was like, this guy's knocked out, right? And his body's just limp. And he's like twisting kind of like that. Going back this up a little bit. You know, he's just like, he's limp and his legs are just falling down. But it doesn't, this right here, first of all, doesn't read well. So that I want to redo. His body twisting also is not being read well. But the other thing is the way he landed, I didn't want him like this. Alright, so let me use the other one now because I've already kind of gone through this one quite a bit. But I didn't want him to land like this. I wanted him here, right? This to be his face. This to be his head. And his neck like this. And his body like that. Right? And then the legs coming down like this. Like he's just fucking like, this guy's knocked out. Like this guy doesn't feel shit. You know what I mean? And the same thing like the way I kind of drew his arms of like almost like paper. Just fucking flapping in the wind. Right? But for me the most part is this. That I want this like this, so his head is hitting down here and his neck, you know what I mean, almost like he was DDT'd. So this is the kind of stuff that I found problematic with this page. And like I said, a lot of it I could live with. These two panels I feel like came out fairly solid. This arm probably would have dropped it down more, and if I'm gonna redo these two panels, I might as well redo this one. You know, so this one, I'm not going to bullet down here because that means he actually has a technique. But I definitely would bring the arm down like over here. So I don't know if you guys can see the difference. Bring it right here, because right here is just too far out, right? And then this one, like I said, you know, for shortening this arm coming back, and then this one getting sent out, you know, so something like that. And then this one right here, like I said, I don't want this trajectory. I want it to be like this, right? So his neck's gonna be like that, like almost in that way of like, shit, it looks like he almost broke his fucking neck with the way he got knocked out, you know. I just don't know. That means I might have to make this way smaller, which I don't know, that's gonna take away from it, right? Or like that, and then you just see like some of the leg over here, and then that's it. So I'm not sure how this panel is gonna work out, but these are the things that I found problematic with this page, that I'm like, okay, this is why I'm gonna redo it. Because if you notice, there's 4 panels. If I'm happy with 2 of them but unhappy with 2 of them, that means I'm only happy with 50% of the page. That's not gonna be enough. And especially this panel here. This panel here is the one that really irked me. I could have lived with this. Definitely this portion of it right here looks funky, right? This thing right here doesn't make any sense. His legs, right? It just doesn't read well. So that's definitely one of the things that I'm like, okay, that I gotta fix. I could live with this. Like I said, I kind of wanted him going straight up, but I could live with him going sideways, right? Because if he got knocked out, right? If he got knocked out, right? So he got socked here, boom, he would fall like that, right? And his body would be like that. Does that make sense? And so then it'd be hit here. But I wanted it to be like more cartoonish, right? So he got uppercutted, boom. So that brought him off his feet. And then the second hit comes here, boom. And that shit just knocks him down like that. Which is way more cartoonish. But that's just some of my thinking, man. I don't even know if you guys can understand the ramblings that went on in here. Because I'm looking through these and I'm like, whoa. This is, it's a little hard reading, I think. But, so I definitely dig looking through my work, and kind of as a, you know, DIYer, you know, homemaker of comics, you always got to critique your own work. You don't have anyone looking over your shoulder telling you yay or nay. So that's where like the self-critiquing really does matter and really comes into play. And you really have to kind of just analyze your own thoughts and really kind of see whether or not you got close to what you're trying to communicate. Because in the end of the day, this is what sequential art is, right? We're using images, but to also convey an idea, a thought, an emotion. And so the idea is, did I get that message across? And if I didn't, then you redo it. And that's one of the things I think a lot of younger cartoonists, and myself too in my younger days, I wouldn't give the time and effort to critique my work and then redo the work. And it's just like any other creative outlet, right? Like a writer needs to write and then rewrite and then rewrite again. And if you're not willing to do that, you don't really get better. So it's one of those things that I really think that I've gotten better at doing. There is a downside to this though. It's that you start to think and overthink, and you do and you redo and you redo, and then you don't set a deadline to what you're up to. And before you know it, you've been working on one page for too long. That's why I just want to show you guys kind of my thinking on what I didn't like about the page, but I'm not going to stop and fix that page yet. I'm going to continue on with the story and the pages that I have that I know I want to do to tell this first chapter to the story. And then once I finish getting all that out, then I start the editing process. And then I start looking at each page more critically and then doing and undoing and redoing. And then I do it once again from beginning to end. And then I finish that one process, put it down for a week or two, come back to it, and then redo that whole process until I'm finally like, you know what, this is pretty solid. I'm comfortable with this going out in the world with my name attached to it. But all right, you guys, that's all I got for you guys today, man. If you guys are digging the comic that I'm working on, don't forget that we also have other comics that I've been a part of, or other cartoonists that I'm happy to have been able to publish through the Furrow Comics Project. That's something that you can go ahead and find in the link in the show notes. That way you guys can show some love and support that way. And if not, don't forget, just by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, you guys are showing some love and support anyways. So thank you guys so much for everything that you guys are doing to help us build and grow Furrow Comics. for a publication and all the good shit that we're up to. Hella appreciate it. Until next time, you guys. Lates.